is installed, you need this extension, Salesforce extensions pack, correct? Something from Salesforce. Okay, don't pick anything from other vendors. Pick from Salesforce. Okay, then once that is done, what do? You go to view, you go to command palette, you search for this create project command. Yeah, and all right, create project command. So when you do that, Salesforce or VS Code will ask you where do you want to keep the code, isn't it? So you can just choose your local folder, and then you get all the skeleton, right, gets created, with folders and subfolders, correct? And why is it we need a better way to organize our Salesforce code? Yeah, we have bunch of different things in Salesforce, right, from objects, validation rules, classes, LWC, page layouts, etc., right? So you need a way to organize your code, right? So Salesforce is helping you, giving you this SFDX project skeleton through which you can manage your code better. Okay, perfect. So now we have to decide. Okay, decide on against which um, oh my goodness, throat is completely gone. Interesting. All right. So the first question is: so I have my VS Code, correct? My my VS Code in which I am going to start with the LWC development, right? So how do I connect against an org to deploy LWC components? Okay, and see the output. Okay, so that was a good question from someone uh, in our Rajesh. Is it like every time should I need to deploy the component in LWC in the org and then to see the output, or is there any other simulators stuff available? That is a plugin. Okay, I'll introduce that plugin as well. Okay, try that so you don't have to deploy the component until you test it in local, right? So you can do that as well. Okay, for now, this is what we're gonna do. It. How do I connect against an org? Okay, so my VS Code is right here, isn't it? My VS Code is where are you? Yeah, my VS Code is right here. Okay, all I have to do is first I need to connect this to an org. Okay, which is also fairly simple. Okay, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna click on new, view, and then command palette. Look for authorize an org. Okay, so what you are doing is essentially you're going to let your VS Code to connect to an org, to talk to an org. Okay, so whichever org that you would like to work against, it could be your sandbox, it could be your development environment, it could be your playground, it could be your scratch org, doesn't matter. Okay, you can able to connect your VS Code to that org. So I'm going to use one of my playground orgs. Okay, I'll try to click on authorize an org. So you have bunch of options, right? So I'm going to use playground org. So I'll be using login.salesforce.com. If you're using your sandbox org or your scratch org, right, go ahead with test.salesforce.com. Okay, and if you have a custom login URL, okay, for your org, you can use that as well. Yeah, so I'm going to use playground org. I'll click on this production. Okay, so now I need to give a friendly name to my org. Okay, I'll give May 2024 May 2024 org. Okay, so that's my friendly name. So I'll click on enter. So now what happens is behind the scenes, it is trying to open the browser. Okay, it will open the browser. Yeah, let's wait for this to happen. You can just see this, right? So the VS Code is trying to, is just open the browser. Now all I have to do is I just have to I just have to enter the username and password of the org, okay, to which of the org that I need to connect to VS Code. That's all it is. Okay, so let's say I'm using this one, John Doe org. I'll click here. I believe the password is correct. Let's log in. Let's see. Super, authentication successful. I can close the browser now. Okay, so this marks the connection between VS Code and the org. So the next time I can able to write or I can able to use VS Code and then do anything in this org. I can just move my Lightning Web component to the org or bring the data from the org to the local. I can do everything. We will do it one after the other. Okay, so go back to VS Code. You will just see a success message. Okay, yeah, this tells me that my org or my VS Code is connected. Okay, that's the first thing. Yeah, so what do? You simply use sfdx, correct? Yeah, sfdx to connect to an org. So how do I know whether really my VS Code is connected or not? Okay, so remember the name of the org, the friendly name that we had given, May 2024 org, right? That should appear right here. Okay, in my case it is not appearing, it shows something else, right? That is okay, I'll show you how to change that. It should appear right here. If it is not appearing, click here. It just opens up this palette again. You will find the one that you have that you had given. Okay, in this case, for the same org I used a different friend alias name. That's the reason you are seeing all these things right here. Okay, anyways, so I'll click right here. Okay, yeah, so it still says B2B demo. That is fine. That is fine because both are referring to the same org. But again, to cross check, right? You can just use the small icon right here, open org. Just click on that. If it opens an org without asking username and password, then you are all good to go. It's saying running, right? So let's wait for this to complete. See, it did not ask me username and password. It simply opened up the org for me. Correct? Pretty cool, correct? So this marks the connection between my VS Code and org. So now it is all good. Achoo. Now it's all good for me to start doing the development against this org, and then deploy my components to and fro. I can do that. Okay, so that's the first thing that you should do. Okay, you should first connect your org. Yeah, so with that I will close this as well. Okay, so now we have this connected, correct? And then what are the other things we should be aware of? Let me go back to this one. So what did we just do? We did create VS Code and or prep org for development. Yeah, so connect, use sfdx, correct? Sfdx or sf extension, I'll put it that way. Okay, to connect VS Code and org. Yeah, and Salesforce org. So remember, it could be anything. Yeah, it could be your sandbox or your playground org. I'm using a playground org. Okay, or your dev org, partial org, whatever it is, full copy sandbox, whatever it is. Yeah, so you will be using sfdx authorize command. Perfect, right? Okay, so this is cool, isn't it? And where are you? All right, so what is the next thing? So the next thing is okay, LWC. So we need to talk about the naming convention. Okay, so this is important. Okay, if you don't follow the naming convention, none of your components will work. Okay, so uh, so the component that you create, right? So in this case, this hello world, correct? Yeah, I said you are essentially creating a element. an HTML tag, just like this lightning button, just like that say something web component we created, right? Yeah, you are essentially creating a HTML element. Okay, so so there are certain rules, okay, that the W3 consortium has laid out when it comes to HTML, creating your own components, giving a name to your name to your component, etc. Okay, so the thing is, should have camel case. Okay, so what does it mean? The starting letter will always be the lowercase. You can just see this, right? Hello world, so it should start with H. Okay, start with should start with lowercase, and each word, okay, can have. So what does it mean, Rajesh? So very simple. So this one, hello world, how many words are there? By looking at it, I can just say two words, right? Hello and world. Yeah, I'm saying this, there are two words in it because as per camel casing, okay, hello is one word. Okay, the moment you name your component, right, with an uppercase, or start with an uppercase letter, okay, immediately it will be considered as another word. Okay, another word called another word. Okay, so so if I have something like this, opportunity counter, opportunity uh, close counter. So basically, right, what the HTML parser behind the scenes will consider this as, there are three words in this component. Opportunity is word number one, and close is word two, and counter is word three, because this word starts with caps, and this word starts with caps. Okay, why is it important? Because when you use your component, okay, when you use your component as an HTML tag, you will use something called kebab case. Okay, so I'll show you very shortly. Okay, when component is used as an HTML element, okay, follow kebab case. So what does it mean? Very simple. So when this hello world, let's take an example. Okay, let's say I want to use this hello world in another HTML. Okay, yeah, in another HTML. What I will do is I'll just simply do it like this. Hello hyphen word. So each word is separated with hyphen. Okay, kebab case. And in this case, this one, right, I can represent this as a tag, opportunity hyphen close hyphen counter. Okay, that's how you can refer. Sometimes you create a component saying that accounts. Okay, then simply you can just say accounts. That's it. Okay, so this is what we call kebab cases. Yeah, so a component name should follow camel casing, and when a component is used in another component in another HTML, right, it has to follow kebab casing. Okay, so kebab casing follow kebab case, in which each word is separated with an hyphen. That's the thing. Okay, I hope this is clear. Okay, when you start creating more and more components, right, you don't have to be very specific about it. It comes naturally. Okay, I'll close this now for now. All right. So first things first, this is done, right? And other than that, okay, you also have to focus on this particular file. So we have JavaScript, we have HTML, we do have something called metadata XML, right? So this is the one that's going to help you to help you to my throat. So config file. Okay, so config file, defines first thing, two things it will do. Okay, first, um, allows a component to makes a component makes a component available to use. So what does it mean? Very simple. If you go right here, there is a there is this option called is exposed. If you set this as false, I cannot use this component in my Salesforce org. So whatever component that you create by default, to start with. Okay, guys, I'm seeing from Deepak share screen. I hope my screen is visible, isn't it?
Yeah, visible.
Okay. So good. So is exposed is true. Okay, that's the first thing. Okay, number two, you can define, because Salesforce environment, right? It's vast. There are a lot of places we can deploy a component. As in, I can deploy my component or use my component on a Lightning page, record page, home page, a community page, right? Or as a tab, I can do all such things. So using this config file, okay, I can able to write define where exactly the component should be used. Okay, so we will not open up the component to be available everywhere. No, we can restrict that. So let's quickly see that. Let's quickly see that how it works. Okay, this is where we're going to learn some additional tags. Okay, and this config file is purely specific to Salesforce LWC. Okay, this has got nothing to do with the plain HTML or JavaScript. Okay, this is very specific to Salesforce LWC. So we have something called LWC targets. You can just see this, right? So that is this targets tag. Okay, yeah, and inside which you can set multiple targets, which means I'm saying that this hello world program, hello world component, I can use it in record page, use it in app page, I can use it in home page. I have commented out, other places. You can just see this, right? It can be used as a tab or as a community, community component. You can do it. Okay. But I just want this to be used only in the, let's say, record page. Okay. Nowhere else, just record. I'll remove everything. Okay. So now I'm minimizing the scope of my component usage. Yeah. So instead of making it component available I just made it available to use it in record page. Okay. So I have my hello world. I have my HTML. Perfect. It has one simple button, isn't it? Anything else? Okay. Fine. Let's now deploy this component, access it in Salesforce, and then see the output first. Okay. Yeah. Um, and okay, updated design token, that is fine. Okay, let me ignore this for now. Okay, yeah. So let's do one more thing, name a convention to I'll create a new component. Okay, and I'm gonna say the component name as opportunity close date counter. See, it's a big file name, right? The component name, how many words are there? 4 words. Yeah, 4 words. It follows camel casing, because the start letter of the word, the start component starts with lowercase, correct? And each new word, okay, starts with an uppercase. So in total, there are 4 words in it. So I'm gonna say enter. Okay, it's asking me where to keep the file. I'll say LWC. So this is essentially going to build a bundle for me, right? Yeah, something that we are already aware of. Okay, but one more thing before I deploy. Okay, so typically in plain HTML and JavaScript code, which we did write earlier, correct? So I had this home.html, I had this multiple JavaScript files, correct? How did I add the JavaScript files? I used the script tag, correct? Yeah, but here in Lightning Web Component, you don't have to do that. Okay, again, Salesforce is Salesforce has customized their framework to make it easy for you, because every time you don't have to use that script tag and then say that, hey, this is the JavaScript file inside which the code is written. No, Salesforce says that if you if you if your JavaScript file has the same name as the bundle or as the HTML, right, then automatically the references will be taken care of. You don't have to do anything. Automatically Salesforce takes care of the references. Okay, and that is the reason it is creating a bundle. Every time when the component is created, it is creating a bundle. Okay, carrying the same name. Try changing this hello world.js to something else, abcd.js, and then try to run your code, see what happens. Okay, as a to do, you can just do it and then figure out what happens. Okay, yeah, it should fail. Okay, anyways, so don't change the uh, file names. Okay, so all the file JavaScript, your CSS should have the same name as the button. Okay, so cool. So I have not written any long code. I just copied that button and then just add it right here. And I just right click. I'm gonna deploy. That's all it is. Okay, this is how simple it is to deploy a component, because my VS Code and the org both are connected, isn't it? So let's click on deploy this source to org. Okay, something is wrong. Deploy to org fail. Let's figure out why it is happening. um, Something wrong. So in case something goes wrong with the deployment, right, you will see the error right here. Okay, targets. Oh, did I mess up something? I must have done something. Let's go to this targets. Okay, and there is a matching tag. Oh, there is no matching tag. I'm so sorry. Slash. Now I'll save the file, right click and then deploy. Okay, so together as a bundle, all the files are going to get deployed. Okay, so looks like this is successfully ran. Okay, let's go to the org and then find whether this deployment is complete or not. Okay, yeah, so I'll close this, and remember how you can easily open the org while you are in VS Code. So you can just simply click on this button, correct? It will open the org that is connected to your VS Code. Okay, and that's how the VS Code knows where to deploy the code. Otherwise it doesn't know, right? Yeah, so that's why I said in the step one, connect your VS Code and the org. Yeah, so now I'm in the org, creative fox the name. Okay, I will go to the setup. I'll first see whether the component is available or not. Okay, yeah, I will go and then look for lightning. I can find this custom components, lightning components right here. Click here. All right, I do have a lot of components created, but let's look for the one that we just created. All right, look for the type. Column 3, there are a lot of Aura and LWC component, and this is the component that we had written. So if you click on this, okay, Salesforce will not show you the code. Okay, it will not show you the code. Okay, and this is the remember the main reason, right, why we wanted to have all these tools, right? Uh, yeah, we'll do that, Raju. Okay, so the very reason why we are using all the tools, right, VS Code, SFTX, everything, right, the reason is because uh, right away, right in Salesforce, I cannot create or build a lightning. That option is gone. Okay, it's not there at all. So Salesforce will not show you the code. So if you really want to see the code, you have to you have to use VS Code. You have to see the you have to see the code, change the code, whatever it is. So you certainly have to use some ID. No option with that. Okay, so all you know is there is a component exists. That's all. But see the code, see this VS Code. Okay, and that is the reason. Typically, what we do is, right, in our customer projects, we keep a source control. Source controls like GitHub, Bitbucket, GitLab. Okay, so we put all the files, okay, all the source code files, right, safely in the source control, so that anytime, okay, anytime I can go to the source control see the code or get the code downloaded to my local and then start with the development. Okay. So, yeah. So anyways, so now our component is deployed, correct? So let's add the component. Yeah. So let me go to the home page. I want to bring the component right here. Okay, somewhere right here. Yeah. So how do we bring the component? Let's go to the setup. Not setup. So sorry. I'll go to the settings and then edit page. And right here you have this option of custom, right? So in which you will be seeing the list of components, LWC components and Aura components. Okay, but I don't find the hello world component, right? I see contact role grid, I see opportunity close countdown, right? But I don't find this. I don't find the hello world component. Why? That's because we were very specific about exposing this component. We said, okay, the component can be used in Salesforce, in the Salesforce org. Okay, but the component should be available only in the record page. But what we are seeing right here is the home page. That's the reason it is not showing up. Yeah, it's not showing up. So let's go back. Let's go back, and I'll go to any one of the record pages. For example, I'll say go to lead. I go to one of the record page. Now let me try and then see if the component is available. Settings, edit page. Now you are seeing hello world, right? That's it. Okay. So this is the significance of target tag. Okay. So you can define where exactly you would like to use this particular component. Okay. As I said, right, it's not going to be available to use, everywhere in the org. You can be, as a developer, you can choose and decide. Okay. Now I'm going to simply drag and then drop it right to the page, and the button is appearing. Okay, in the preview mode. Let's click on save. Let's go back. Okay, first time I'm changing the page. I'll activate this. I'll make it assign for default org. Super, isn't it? Now you have this button. Perfect, right? So what did we do so far? We created a simple lightning web component. We did under 1 minute, guys. So we have 3 minutes, right, for a break. Okay, let's quickly summarize what we did. Then we can we can make this use case a little complicated and then learn other concepts. Okay, so we did create our first component by following the naming convention, right? It should be camel case. We are yet to discover, we are yet to talk about the kebab case usage, etc. We will come to that when we talk about other concepts. Okay, and we did also learn about the configuration file significance, right? It helps you to expose or makes a component available to use. But when you say available to use, everywhere you can use it. Okay, you can set the targets, correct? So you can use targets tag. Okay, use targets tag. That's what we did. Yeah, so now what I can do is, if I really want to use it, make it available for uh, for for the homepage to for the homepage, to see this component or use this component, right? I can just simply go and then do it. Okay, and that's it. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to make one more change. Okay, I'm going to add an image tag. Okay, src is equal to we had one random, right? Just to prove that it is okay to use HTML tags as well. Okay, um, where are you, Mr. Okay, let's try this. div inside which I'll move the source. Okay. Yeah, I'll save this one. Save this file. Control S. Save this file. Again, right click and then deploy. Okay, so every time when you make a change, to see the change, in the org, you have to deploy it. Go back to the page. Go back to the page. Just refresh it. If you don't see the output, right? Ideally speaking, we should see the image, right, which caching issue. Okay, and this is a typical issue that as a developer, when you do development, right, you will run into. I'll show you how to get around with this caching problems, and also see the new output, right, after the break. Okay, the change that we added, it's not getting reflected, right? Yeah, the image is not appearing. So we will figure that out. Okay, cache and then do it. Yeah. So sometimes the cache might take some time to burst. Okay, but if you refresh again and again, it's not happening. We'll clear the cache after this 15 minutes break. So now it's 11:15. We will take a 15 minutes break and then we will resume by 11:30. I will also go through the questions so that in the Q&A, right, we can discuss in detail. Okay, yeah. So we will resume by 11:30.